Good morning. Happy Friday. We're in Hebrews chapter 12, repeating a look at verse 1. We have finished, of course, Hebrews 11, which was about faith, the hall of faith, and it's a list of heroes, people of whom the world was not worthy. But what is notable about that list is, of course, that it's full of broken people. The real hero, and this is the big thrust of the book of Hebrews, the sermon of Hebrews. It's more of a sermon than a book, but the big thrust of this letter, this sermon, is that Jesus is the one. Jesus is the source of our hope. Jesus is our foundation. Jesus is better than the angels and the prophets, and the covenant that he brings is better than the old covenant. So that was Hebrews 11, and now we're in this big, in light of that, in light of who Jesus is, in light of all these things, I need to be moving forward and need to be exercising faith. So Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1, by the way, I got a new Bible in the mail sent to me. It is the Christian CSB version, so it's a little bit different than what I was using, but am enjoying this. It's a study Bible, so a new study Bible means lots of footnotes to read and other things. But this is Hebrews 12:1. Therefore, since we have such a large cloud of witnesses surrounding us, let us lay aside every hindrance and the sin that so easily ensnares us. Let us run with endurance the race that lies before us, keeping our eyes on Jesus, the source and perfecter of our faith. For the joy that lay before him, he endured the cross, despising the shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. So I put in my email that accompanies this a picture of the stadium that you can almost imagine the writer of this letter looking at or thinking about. So often the Christian life is compared to an athletic event, and in particular to running, to races. By the way, there's a running group at Christ Church that is forming. If you're a runner, we've been meeting on every other Friday and running for an hour and then eating pizza. I'm not sure we're net positive on calories, but it's been a good time. And if you want to join us, you are welcome to. Send me an email. So anyway, I want to remind you, when you look at that picture, you can imagine all these people in the stands that are the witnesses, that are cheering people on, that are cheering on the runner. And so we got this list, this cloud of witnesses. And witness in Greek is the word martyr. Now, at the time that the word martyr was used, it didn't mean what we think of it today. It just meant witness, somebody who was offering a testimony of something. But because the Christian martyrs, the Christian witnesses, were so often put to death, the word witness and martyr became conflated. And by the way, the disciples more than anyone. So John is an old man. They tried to kill him and banished him to this island of Patmos. We believe he just dies of old age there. And Judas ended his own life. But the other 10, they all, tradition would tell us, they all died as martyrs. And remember, the Jews are like the last people on the planet to think that Jesus could be God, because they believed in one God in heaven, holy and removed. And at the same time, they say, there's one God, he is in heaven, he is holy, I can't draw near to him. And by the way, this guy that I have been standing next to and following for the last 3 years, he also is God. And initially, they didn't try and reconcile those things. But they will go to their death believing it. Jesus is God. So the thrust that we get here is that because Jesus is God, we want to set aside all the encumbrances. We want to set aside anything that would slow us down. Again, I mentioned that that the idea of running a race is common in Scripture. Paul, and some say that Paul wrote the letter to the Hebrews. Don't think so, but Paul will use this in 1 Corinthians 9. We get this idea that all those in a stadium are running, but only one receives the prize. Run in such a way that you may win. And then in 2 Timothy 4, we get some of the similar kind of idea that we need to set aside anything that would slow us down, that nothing matters as much as this. And so, all the sin that so easily entangles us. You can imagine a runner tripping over, wearing clothes or trying to carry something that he or she doesn't need. So I want to remind you, you're running a race. And it's a race that you want to win. And this doesn't negate grace in any sense. But Paul, who is a champion of grace, is also saying that growing in faith is about disciplining ourselves to godliness, pursuing God. And so look around you today. What is slowing you down from that? Have a good weekend.